What's up, everyone? It is Christmas Eve, and I thought I would do a quick video about my number one reason why people fail on a ketogenic or carnivore diet, like when they go from one crazy diet and then they come over to the low carb land. Now, I just had a consultation and I thought, you know what? I talked about this in my course page. I have a keto course where I cover keto, low carb, high fat, and omnivore and high fat carnivore. This is a subject that I wrote for my course page. It popped up again in another consultation, and that is about hypo and hyperchlorhydria. Now let's talk about that a little bit. Primarily, people go through too low stomach acid. And after that, you fracked. There's like this cascade of problems to do diets that require fats and proteins. And I mean, obviously in carbohydrates, but if you're coming from a standard American diet, your body gets used to trying to like deal with all the inflammatory responses. But then when you alleviate those inflammatory responses and try to kind of more dominate more in fat, for example, instead of carbs, then you have to have equipment to be able to do that. A lot of people who do these high fat keto or carnivore diets or even low carb high fat might notice right side pain, middle of the stomach pain, nausea, constipation, shoulder blade pain from the gallbladder. I think I've spoken about this in other videos. But this is somehow also connected to low stomach acid. I also did a community post that I kind of wrote down some symptoms. I want to talk more about the symptoms, how this affects low carb diets. Basically, if you're not absorbing fat, not only are you going to have a difficult time because of low stomach acid, basically you're going to have a hard time not only breaking down the fat to use for structure, skin, ketones, but also you will be missing out on your omega-3s and certain fatty acids and your vitamin D, E, A, and K. A lot of people become nutrient deficient because they're not realizing how bad their hypochlorhydria is. So most people, 40% of the population, have too low stomach acid, and there are different reasons and ways you develop it. Now, off the top of my head, I know it's things like alcohol. These are obvious, right? Carbs, sugars, processed food, the preservatives and pesticides in foods. But then we have also things like, I mean, if you smoke, if you drink coffee, too much caffeinated teas or caffeine drinks, things like people don't consider even just eating bread, because bread is so super anti-nutrient rich, dense with gluten, that anytime your body goes through a stressor, can be a life stress or an inflammatory reaction to food, the stomach acid goes down. So anti-nutrients in foods will also cause the down regulation of your body to produce these chlorides and these digestive enzymes to break down food. So if we go through more of the, people wouldn't think that not eating enough protein or being a vegan or vegetarian, I mean, you need stomach acid to break down protein. Well, all of the macronutrients, but you need stomach acid to really break down protein. It's so important. And if you're not going to be eating that food group, your body's like, well, why am I going to produce this? I mean, it's a lot of energy to produce things you don't utilize. And so the body just goes, that takes too much energy. You have thyroid, or you have adrenal fatigue, or you don't sleep enough. So I'm not going to make this stuff because that's just more energy output. So let's just get rid of the digestive enzymes. But also injury to the mucosal lining, any type of gastritis, ulcers. And a lot of people have this because they're eating the standard American diet, or they're taking some too many pharmaceuticals. There are so many things that will just downregulate your stomach acid. Now, people say age. Now, I'm in a disagreement with that on how much, because our standard of health is so low that a healthy person, a real healthy person, will be considered sick to the American standards. So not eating enough protein, not getting enough sleep, actually, because that's a stress, right? To not get reparative sleep, not to chew your food slowly, pesticides, anti-nutrients in foods like the salicylates, the oxalates, the goitrogens, the nightshades, the lectins, tannins, saponins, gluten, things of this nature can downregulate because you start developing leaky gut. NSAIDs, which is like ibuprofen and Advil, people take those like it's no big deal, and it's kind of a big deal. Carbs and sugars that your body has to deal with, this thing called advanced glycation end product, which is the damage of cells from too many carbohydrates. That can do it. You guys know this acid reflux is, it can be from hyperchlorhydria, but it's typically from, which is a lot of acid, but it's typically from too low acid. And your body tries to do this overcompensation, and it begins to push this acid forward. Now, the symptoms of this stuff are gnarly, right? Because people wouldn't equate like ridges on the fingernails as having too low stomach acid. It shows mineral deficiencies. The deficiencies you get from, I mean, when you don't have enough stomach acid, it's like crazy. So many people have it because we all grow up eating garbage, taking antibiotics and pharmaceuticals and this, that, and the third. And, you know, a lot of people drink coffee. Now, the symptoms are the ridges. They can be chronic dehydration. They can be constipation. People have got any type of, let's say, pain, bloating in this region here, the abdominal region. So bloating. Here's the weird stuff, like a sense of fullness. A lot of people are like, oh, fat's making me full, but sometimes it's literally that your stomach is too low, and it might be gallbladder, but it could also be that you just have hypochlorhydria and you're not breaking it down because carbohydrates start to break down in your mouth, and they don't do that. Fats and proteins don't do that, or whole complex carbohydrates that are filled with fiber like a broccoli just isn't going to break down. So people are feeling really full on basically, well, fibrous plants, but meat and fat. That's because you're not breaking it down. So if you burp like food the next day, guess what? That food did not get digested, and it's putrefied and rancidified. Even just, you don't even have to burp up food. You just kind of burp up the smell of food. That's hypochlorhydria. People who just burp in general, that's a sign of hypochlorhydria. I forget the name of the test. It's a test where you go and you press here to the left of your abdomen below your rib cage. And if you have pain, that's also a sign of having like hypochlorhydria, is the pain there. Sometimes people have the shoulder blade pain, but that's also from the gallbladder. And I'm just going to go and look up now some more that I might have missed. And we'll get to the solutions. And we'll get to how this affects you doing these diets. Because it's kind of everything. I'm not going to lie. If you guys are... Okay, oh yeah, candida, obviously, skin issues. The constipation, because you need acid to keep those muscles moving. Plus, if you have a candida overgrowth, candida albicans spores can paralyze the muscles from contracting. So other things that I might have missed. Oh, the alkaline water. Yeah, because we need a very acidic stomach. And it can melt a penny, right? Super acidic. If you're drinking anything that's going to neutralize that acid, like water or proton pumps, Pepto-Bismol or Zantac or freaking Tums or any of those things, they really neutralize that stomach acid, which makes you feel better. But in the long run, you start having like rashes and skin issues and eczema and burping, bloated, pressure, sense of fullness, food smell of burping up the next day. These are all really bad signs that your body, not just with the hypochlorhydria, but that you're going to have like a cascade of problems after that. People who don't get enough iodine in their food because it helps get chloride into the abdominal cells and into the small intestine. Also, the food sensitivities, like if you are eating anti-nutrients and you're reacting, that'll downregulate. But then let's talk about, or any type of infection in the body. So if you like have a running fever, that can downregulate it. H. pylori, obviously, and any type of itis is going to keep making those stomach acids go lower, lower, and lower, and that's what we don't want. Now, let's talk about some of the symptoms. I talked about the bloating, mineral deficiencies. Okay. So, you'll notice things like dry skin, the ridges on the nails, cracked nails, like the nails won't grow, right? So it's like crackly nails, dried skin, dry hair, cracked tongue, fungal overgrowth, yellow teeth, broken blood vessels around the nose, and I mean your teeth, gums, all that fall apart, cavities, gum disease, all of that, the bad breath, all of those things are a sign. Basically, if you buy an apple and you put it on the counter for 2 days and you see the oxidation of that apple, and that's a sign of what's going on in your digestive tract, and especially with your stomach acid. So a lot of people are like, oh, my gallbladder's acting funky. They don't actually consider their stomach acid. And then the remedies, like, well, what are the remedies? Oh, and stress. Stress is like one of the biggest reasons why those acids will just plummet. And acids in your stomach work like the sun. They are literally designed to break down and kill pathogens, keep you funky fresh, keep peristalsis moving, all the food moving through breaking down the food. And when the stomach acids get too low, everything's a problem. Food gets backed up. The organs, the liver, kidney, gallbladder aren't going to function properly. Pathogens in the bottom of those small and top of the large intestine are going to get out of control. The bad bacteria, paralyzation of the muscle to poop, basically. So people develop constant chronic dehydration, also the constipation and deficiencies. And if you guys are trying to heal from any type of arthritis, any type of thyroid problem, you're not going to get better if your stomach acids are hitting the ground, because you need to absorb vitamin Z, zinc, vitamin C, zinc, D, and copper balance and selenium for your thyroid. And if you can't get those nutrients in, that thyroid's going to have a difficulty producing the hormones that it needs. Oh, of course, enough the liver's junked up and you're stress monger. But these are some of the things that I want you to consider. Let me see if there's anything else. So yeah, so things by effect will be leaky gut. The gut wall will start to open with too low stomach acid. Then big particles of food start swimming through the bloodstream, and the body's like invaders, and it just goes to everything in your body, which creates an inflammatory response. And then small intestinal bacterial overgrowth can just take control because you don't have that firewall buffer of pathogens to start growing. You don't like eating protein. A lot of people who have low stomach acid, they're like, I've just never liked proteins. They may not have enough stomach acid to break it down, and the body's going like, I can't. That's the same thing with the gallbladder and fat. People are like, oh my God, I can't. Also, the gallbladder specifically will not function properly. It'll have a difficult time to release bile if stomach acids are too low, or your body to secrete secretin to help make these enzymes to become released from the pancreas, like these digestive enzymes. We need pepsin, right? We need protease, we need lipase, we need all these enzymes to break down our food. And then people try to do a keto diet, they're not adapting. They're like, oh my God, I eat enough fat. I see fat in the blood, but your body's not using it or uptaking it, or their ketones are crap, or in the toilet, blood sugar is out of control, and they just feel super, super hypoglycemic. It's because you're not absorbing these foods. How are you going to be in ketosis if you can't even absorb the fat, like gallbladder and stomach? So, of course, with the gallbladder, I'm like, try ox bile or try taurine, glycine. These are amino acids to help break down the sludge that's forming. But you also need to get in enough of your minerals, like iodine. You need to be able to get in enough of your sodium to produce, like, don't do a no salt diet. You need that to make stomach acid. I'm just saying. If there's anything else that I'm missing off my list. So how this affects your keto adaptation is, again, stating that you can't absorb the fat to even convert it to then get it into the Krebs cycle to be used in all the cells for energy. Then you're not getting the minerals to be able to deal with your hormones, like the thyroid, which is so important, or even straight digestion in the stomach. Peristalsis happening because of too low stomach acid. And if peristalsis isn't happening and you can't poop out that estrogen, that backs up the liver. And of course, that whole biliary duct system of the liver, the kidney, and the gallbladder get jacked up. And then you can't freaking you can't digest or convert that fat. And then you're not taking in the protein, and we need those important amino acids for a million things. And then you're not absorbing your protein very well. And you can look to see if your pee is bubbly. That's also a sign of low stomach acid or leaky gut when you have bubbly, foamy pee. If you're not absorbing your protein, you're not absorbing your fat, and your body's inflamed, you're not going to adapt. And dropping out your carbohydrates, because like I said, carbohydrates start digesting in your saliva. If you've got, if you take two types of carbs, if you take broccoli that's raw and you put it in your mouth, it's not going to go anywhere for 20 minutes. If you put a cracker, a piece of bread, potato chip in your mouth, it's going to dissolve right away, so it digests right away. But fats and proteins, that's not how it works. You need stomach acid. I mean, you need stomach acid for carbs too, but really those fats and proteins are important, and that's carnivore, fats and proteins, and that's keto. And it completely blocks your ability to adapt, and then people start noticing a cascade of problems, trying to force down 2 pounds of beef, like on carnivore, which is so stupid. And again, there's always this domino effect of your body trying to get these protein byproducts through the kidneys with chronic dehydration. If you can't get your electrolytes on point, because you can't even absorb the minerals like calcium or magnesium or potassium, because everything's open in the gut wall, and you've got some type of Crohn's or type of diverticulitis, type of ulcer, or you just have leaky gut, then again, everything is connected. People develop thyroid problems, and then because their body's not getting enough equipment for the thyroid, your blood sugar becomes destabilized. Your body's constantly inflamed because you guys don't know how to rotate your foods. You shouldn't eat the same food every day, especially with a compromised gut wall with still low stomach acid. That's when rubber hits the road in these diets. Like, people are like, oh my God, I feel so much better, like here, 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 and here. And then, oh my God, I feel so terrible here, 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 and here, because they don't do things to encourage that stomach acid to be where it's at. Now, all diets, this comes into account, but especially ketogenic people, because keto as in keto, omnivore and carnivore, because we are trying to survive on ketones and not carbohydrates. Now, some of the ways to fix this stuff. Now, there's 2 ways, and this gets really tricky, you guys. So apple cider vinegar really encourages the body in so many ways, because it literally helps with liver function, and this is going to help the piping between those organs to the gallbladder. But it also is going to help with adding more acid base so you can break down the food, more acid here, an acidic environment to break down your food. So you can be absorptive of your micro minerals and vitamins or micronutrients. It's like the importance of taking the time and being like, okay, am I going to do a flush, a cleanse? Am I going to take a liver support indirectly for the production of caloric acid? Am I going to take supplements like zinc? No, get zinc from liver. Get iodine from seafood if you can. Now, the caveat, if you have histamine intolerance, mast cell activation, you're in a quagmire, because things that help are like bitters, herbs that are bitters. Those things help a lot. Then we've got things like supplements like betaine HCl. But if you've got like diverticulitis, Crohn's, or an ulcer, it really irritates the mucosal lining if it's been like worn out. So you got to be very, very careful and take like half a dosage halfway through a meal to test that. But that is not a fixable problem. The herbs are really more of a fixable problem. Let me get to them. So we've got apple cider vinegar and lemon. They're really great, but if you have histamine response, you can't take that stuff. You can't force it down, because you're going to have histamine intolerance that'll keep pushing down the stomach acid, even though these acid-based foods are great to digest. So you've got this, you got to be careful with not getting to a rock and a hard place. So the betaine HCl with pepsin can help for the short term. Like I said, the herbal bitters, like Oregon grapefruit, dandelion, skullcap. These are all bitters that help. They're the best because they really go, hey, stomach acid, help, hey cells, let's release some stomach acid. Let's get this going to digest. Let's get the pancreas working and the pancreatic juices flowing and the enzymes, because when the stomach acid goes down, so does your ability to produce enough digestive enzymes, which are worker bees, to help break down food. Let's see here. Like, don't drink water while you're eating. Don't eat fast, because big particles of food, the body's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like monsters are coming down the trap. Like, stop. Like, it's too big. I don't reckon. No. Don't drink water while you're eating, because it will neutralize the stomach acid, and you are already having problems with that. So you got like fungal overgrowth, parasites, eczema, psoriasis. It has a lot to do with your stomach acid and the small intestinal wall being nice and tight and enough stomach acid. Oh, it's like rest and digest. Eat, don't run around like before you work out. Don't eat and then work out, because stuff doesn't get digested, and that takes the stomach acid down. That's a stress. Anything that's a stress. Environmental, how you live your life, people, working out right after you've eaten, that makes those stomach acids go, oh no, they tank. Poor sleep makes them tank. Wait, there's another weird one. Oh, it says, I wrote down, put the fork down in between meals. Don't keep it up, right? And you have to chew your food until it's totally liquid based. That's when you swallow. That's how you produce more stomach acid. That's how you heal the gut wall. And there's no way around it. You have to do it like that. That's how you get into ketosis. That's how you do a carnivore diet, where it's mostly carnivore if you're trying to be an avivore. And also, if you can't eat avocados, you microdose your way up. Once you start fixing the stomach acid and tightening the gut wall, you will be able to eat avocado again to get that potassium, which that's a whole nother subject, is the electrolytes, but they are connected to that low stomach acid, because if you can't absorb the minerals, you can't balance your electrolytes. All right, guys, to learn more, you can join my keto course where I covered these subjects, because I wrote this whole thing for my course page. That's through stephanieperson.com. It's $15 a month. You're not going to get a cheaper course for that much. I'm telling you, it's the new year and it's Christmas. You guys are going to go through that whole, I'm gaining weight guilt and I want to get healthy. So this is the time to join that page, because I'm going to literally move, and I'll have my fur baby in my backyard who's 1,400 pounds. And then I will have an open consultation schedule So always email me through my website, through stephanieperson.com, if you want a consultation, and I put you on a list. And then when my whole calendar has like dates all day long, boom, you get that email, and then you can book a consultation. Also, Sarah, I'm going to do another video about this. Sarah Carnivore Yogi did a video about being iodine deficient and how she got a kit, and you know, you paint iodine on your arm, and if your arm's completely gone, I think it's 24 hours if it's gone, that painted color of iodine, if it's gone, it's like shades of brown, bronzy. If it goes away, then your body's soaking up trying to use it, means you don't have enough iodine. And if it's still there, you're good to go. And I really love that. So go check out her video on that subject, because that has everything to do with stomach acid, because iodine indirectly helps you make stomach acid. And also that helps you with your thyroid. Just connected to this. It all connects. Like this connects to this. It all connects, guys. Like if you got a pain over here and a symptom over there, don't think they're two separate things. They are the same. Except even if thunder stepped on my foot and it hurt really bad, and then the next day I got a cold, my whole immune system went towards that foot. And now the regulators towards this over here, pathogens are getting in me and I get a cold. Everything's connected. Now I gotta go. Now if I break a foot and then I break a toe skateboarding or something, or if I break a finger and then I break a foot, there are two different situations, but the way my body fights the healing process will put my immune system on like pressure. And then everything else gets wonky. So that's why this peristalsis, the vagus nerve, also is connected to having enough stomach acid. So if you don't have enough stomach acid, you start to develop mood issues and depression, all this. It's all connected, people. All right, now I gotta go. Have a wonderful Christmas, you guys. Happy Hanukkah. Happy whatever. When I went to Africa, they like gave each other like homemade gifts. If you're not religious, have a happy tomorrow, whatever. Don't let the crazy world today get you down. We gotta band together. We gotta be all good homies. We gotta be like loving each other and make this a better world. I know I sound cheesy. I don't eat cheese. Okay, I sound buttery. I ate a lot of butter. All right. Peace out, guys. Oh, my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. There I post up every single day. Go to my stories and I post a lot of great content there, or my Facebook, which is Stephanie the Business Person. I'm 53 and counting, 13 years keto, no repeating, cheating. And am I out? And I'm out. Peace.